Okay.
Get her going.
Okay, we're back.
Are we back?
Yeah, we are back. Okay, sorry about that. That was my connection problems. We're still sort of figuring out our streaming system here. That's very
This is part
unfortunate.
two. We're just gonna do a part two.
Yeah, so this will be a part two. I don't know. We'll see how it works, and we'll look at it afterwards and try to have a
Okay.
part two or patch it together. Um, and we were talking for a while anyway, so
Oh yeah, we ramble, don't we?
yeah, well, fair. Particularly we're doing live. So we'll see how that works.
Yeah.
But I think we'll just continue with our review here. And it seems to be
Good.
working well now. I'm on wired internet and Wi-Fi as a backup, so hopefully that won't happen again, and we'll get better at sort of what we're doing. Picard maneuver.
Well, yeah, we'll be back to the fixed location at some point, which will be way easier.
That's gonna be way better.
Cool. So where were we?
We were.
Yes,
I
Guinan.
think we were just finishing up the scene at 10 Forward with Guinan. They were drinking Saurian brandy in a pretty classic Quark bottle, which was another sort of nice Star Trek bottle. I'd love to have one.
You know what they say? You know what they say about drinking Saurian brandy?
Well, it's no
That
Romulan
the
ale.
that the next day you'll be sorry and dandy.
That's good. I like it.
Thanks, man. You can use it.
Okay, so I think that's all we had to say about Guinan. For now, I'm certain she'll appear again. So the next scene, Picard is called to action because he is wanted to respond to the people asking for help.
Yeah, and he asks the question, why couldn't you go to anyone else? Why would you come to me? And it's a great setup for what?
Help us, Picard.
Yeah. Basically, to play audio that literally says, help us, Picard. And honestly, like, sometimes some of the most on-the-nose story devices can be, like, the best to watch because, like, in this moment, you want Picard to be called to action. You want him to be asked to go be Picard. So when the aliens literally are like, help us, Picard, you're like, yes, darn right.
And I sort of like that world better than the sort of the awkward one in the previous season.
Yeah.
There was the same thing with the Admiral, but the Admiral was like quite angry at him.
Get out of here, Picard. What are you doing? Like,
You're supposed to have a TV show.
Right. And I think even the situation last season that they built up, which was cool, had more of a vibe of like, almost like Dick's. Gosh, what was the detective he used to play?
Dixon Hill. Well,
Dixon Hill.
I often refer to the first season of Picard as a neo-noir. Kind of more like a Blade Runner or something, where Picard's this sort of uncertain, isolated, trying to make sense of a dystopian world. And which is, I really love Blade Runner. I love dystopias and neo-noirs, but we talked a lot about the first season.
Oh, and it works. It's all good. It's just, I think for this season, I like that we're being brought back to, like,
exactly.
Help
it's another
us,
way
Picard.
this first episode's really come back. Oh, and you get the classic painting of the Enterprise there from.
Oh, that.
I just noticed that.
That room looks so cool. I want to visit this room. It actually looks like a set from the holodeck. I don't know why.
Yeah, well, it was remember his. I think it might even have been this room. He'd used a holodeck version of his room back at his chalet when he's
On the
on
ship.
on Rios' ship.
Yeah, 100%. That's why I'm thinking that.
All right, so he joins Rios on the bridge of the Stargazer. This is exciting. And
I love the way the bridge looks.
there. Yeah, it's a great bridge design, and look, I like the leather seats. It's sort of a little bit of a callback to the more leathery look of the first season.
Yeah, but like super futuristic. Like everything's glowing. Like look at everything is glowing. Which is cool because a fact about the original, not the original series, but I think even in the original series, but in TNG, the bridge and a lot of the lighting was practical. So a lot of the lights you'd see on the bridge were actually what the film crew, the video crew would use to light the characters. So they looked cool, but they were also super practical.
And of course, TNG was very much made for that sort of TV, early 90s, late 80s medium when it comes to that type of lighting.
Yeah, for sure. But I liked it. But look at this.
So this is
concern.
This scene they find out it's the Borg, I believe. And
do they know yet? Yeah, maybe.
And yeah, this is. And then there's a shot we were talking a little bit earlier about the ships, but there is quite a few of them, but they're all different designs, and I think that's more interesting. Oh, it looks like there's one of the Sovereign class of the USS Enterprise.
Well, right. That's what I was actually looking for. And actually, if you look at the
ones, they're like more modern nebulas.
Mm-hmm.
And right in the middle.
Yeah, no, it's cool seeing, like kind of picking out the different ships. But there definitely is one that looks a lot like the Enterprise, the top kind of middle. Do you see it?
Oh, the Enterprise D, you're saying? Yeah, I think I see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, or at least it has a similar configuration to the sort of the Galaxy class as well as the Sovereign class.
The Galaxy class.
And there's
what
one
a cool.
Sort of the Akira class. So a lot of all the sort of different configurations of ships they've sort of kept, but they're all modernized.
Did you know, Tim, that class of starship, the Enterprise, that the saucer section could actually separate?
Really? Did you know that technically that can happen on any ship? You just can't always
Isn't that crazy? And then the saucer would go off, and then the bottom part had a battle bridge.
The battle bridge was pretty cool. When
cool.
Like Geordi would captain the battle bridge.
Yeah. How many times did we actually see it? Like 3?
Yeah, we saw it obviously in the very first episode, and then that Arsenal of Freedom one I referenced with Geordi, and we see it again in Best of Both Worlds. But it definitely doesn't happen as much as we're sort of promised in the first episode. I think it's
it was a gimmick that they
laborious and expensive and time consuming to deal with.
Oh yeah,
but it actually makes tons of sense, because there's all these times when the Enterprise D is put in real peril. Picard's like face to face with a Romulan. It could end with the Enterprise D being destroyed, and they have a huge population of people on the ship.
Yeah,
it does that always made sense.
It does make sense. But anyway, so there's Dr.
So the Borg Queen, or what we think is a Borg, looks like the Borg Queen. They say it's going to be a Borg Queen, but she's wearing a mask, beams aboard. What they do is there's a promise of the Borg wanting peace, joining the Federation, which is something that Picard, the sort of ultimate diplomat, couldn't pass up. That's like his dream. The idea, I know he's traumatized by the Borg, but the idea of sort of resolving the Borg by finding peace with the Borg, to me, seems like something that Picard would always love to do. The only thing it would be better is if it involved Shakespeare readings and archaeology.
Right. So no, it's too tempting for Picard to pass up, which is why in this moment they hesitate. Which is it a weakness? Is it a strength? In this moment, it kind of makes it almost seem like it's a weakness. And given the fact that this whole season might be dealing with missed opportunity and what time, trying to go back on mistakes you've made through time. Is this a mistake Picard just made? Is this why the Borg is able to then access the computers on the ships? They also make reference to the fact that these new class of Federation ships are built using some of the borrowed technology from the Borg, which then makes it easier for the Borg to take control of the ships, which was a little bit of a... Yeah, I was going to say it felt like a little bit of a shoehorn plot device to be like...
to make that one scene more dramatic, make it more believable that she's able to just be there and then take over all the ships. But to me, like that didn't really add up. I don't think it's too important, neither here nor there. I think some important dynamic of this screen is that 7 of 9, unlike Picard, has no sort of dreams of diplomacy. Right. Like, we can't trust the Borg. We can't do it. And I think she may be right too that if the Borg know Picard, they've assimilated him as Locutus. So if they know what his desires, they knew that if they say, "Save us, Picard," and Picard, you have an opportunity to make peace with your greatest enemy, those are the two things that would attract him, that he'd actually come. So it may be...
Could be genius on their part.
It may be... We can't trust the Borg is what I'm saying. They're not necessarily... I think we talked a little bit in our first quick video about it seems odd that the Borg would be the main villains necessarily, but...
Well, I have a comment from Mac that I just wanted to bring in, because Mac made a comment on our first video, the test one, and said, I don't think that the Borg Queen is going to be an ally... Sorry, I think that the Borg Queen is going to be an ally under duress. that the change timeline hasn't been good for the Borg, and they have to work with her, probably with her turning on them in the end, but they've planned for it. That's his guess as to what's going on with the Borg. So, yeah, that they aren't the enemy, that they will be an ally under duress, and that they'll have some kind of ulterior motive, of course, that will cause a problem for the Federation, but they'll have to kind of have already planned for it.
Yeah, I don't think I don't think that the Borg social structure would ever qualify them to be members of the Federation. We've dealt with this before, where if there's a culture that still has slavery or breaks certain fundamental humanoid rights, then they're not admissible to the Federation for obvious reasons. And to me, I don't think the Borg actually could be members of the Federation, but some sort of peace or treaty is possible.